everybody that with a cell phone, please shut it off so there'll be no distractions.
I have County Commissioner-elect James Williams on the phone because he asked to be here by phone. So that's all. There shouldn't be any distraction from my phone.
I want to thank you people for coming. I hope it's interesting. Christine, Aaron, Mr. Kestner, the other invited people from the courthouse I haven't seen.
Well, I didn't hear these guys.
Some of the rules that we want to work on today are let's be polite to anybody that's speaking. There'll be no cussing, one warning and you're gone. And the acoustics is going to be tough, so please bear with us. Let's start with Christine so she can discuss the ideas about their mission, how they will meet their goals, including self-sufficiency and families. You've seen Facebook threads, so you can address some of these concerns. After she's done, we'll open up the meeting to you people for questions. When that's done, then Mr. Kestner, anybody from the courthouse that I haven't seen yet, will have an opportunity to voice their opinions. Thank you. Christine.
Hi, everyone. My name is Christina Trio. My husband, Aaron. First and foremost, I'm not very good at speaking in public. I love talking person to person. But I definitely thank the invite for being here, you guys. We're here to be a part of the community. We're here actually first and foremost to build our son a home. He wants to live on a homestead with animals and grow his own corn and potatoes. He wants to be able to not live in the city and not have to deal with that. I was born and raised in Reno, Nevada, well, right outside of Reno at Fernley. It was a small town. I didn't like Reno much, so I always stayed to the outskirts. Then we moved to Oregon 3 years ago. We started helping the homeless, setting up camps, and feeding them every Wednesday and Thursday at Lentz Park in Portland. Well, then my son actually came to me and he said, well, why can't we help other people? My thing was, well, if we can, I was raised if we could take care of ourselves, then you could just give a little bit extra to take care of that next person. A lot of the reasons why I brought our first family with us, because us financially, we have full-time jobs working in Portland. We're actually on leave right now to kind of lay out the property and check it out. As some of you guys may know, we're on BLM land, which we did not know. It was an honest mistake. We're about 1,300 feet off, so we will get that settled in the next couple days as well. Apologies. Second most, we brought out our motorhomes again more because they are winterized. They are good enough to insulate us. We have water, septic, and propane. If something needed to happen or we needed to leave, or maybe we weren't welcomed here, then we could go home to our homes. Because we do have homes outside of here, but this is where we're trying to build our home for our son. We picked a place that I grew up in the desert, so I love the desert and the sagebrush. Then we fell in love with just the beauty of Oregon, so why not be able to have both? I really don't know what else to say. Like I said, you guys can ask questions. I'm more than willing to answer them. And go from there, I guess. Some of our goals. Right now we're looking to build a homestead and to help other people. And like our first family, they can make it on their own, right? With their income, they have enough to pay bills, but then after that, they're sitting with their grandson inside, not being able to take them anywhere or do anything else. Well, and if we're able to do the same thing and we just give them a little bit more help, so maybe they don't have to buy as many clothes for their grandson, or not a lot of school supplies, or maybe we could cook dinner once or twice a week to help them. Well, that takes it a little bit off their back so they can enjoy what they worked so hard for. And that's what we're trying to do furthermore. We only brought a few families out that were really close to us and that we trusted, because we are a clean and sober living community, and a lot of it goes back to a lot of our members, like Samantha, our other founder. She's been sober for a long time. She quit drinking when she was younger because she didn't feel it was appropriate and that it was destroying her life. So a lot of the reason why we go clean and sober. Let me see. Right now we don't really have any plans for the land. That's a lot of the reason we're out here to kind of lay it out. We don't know if we're going to have transitional housing maybe to help other people or if we're going to keep it really close. The meaning of Commune 222 in numerology means seek balance. It means to help each other out, to keep going. Just like we're willing to help no matter what. If somebody needs their lawn mowed, I'll come mow your lawn just because I'm going to mow your lawn, not because you're paying me to do it, but because if I have the spare time, it can be done. And maybe that's something that I know how to do. A lot of the things when we're coming together as Commune 222, it's okay, well, I can't build a house, but my husband knows how to do it. I'm not a good landscaper, but one of our first family members is. We have our like a house mom kind of. She helps us with dinners when we can't do it, or get the kids ready for school because I can't do it all on my own. And just like coming into your guys' community, we want to be a part of it. We want to be able to go volunteer at the food share and to come into community meetings. And I want you guys to be able to come out to the property and one day maybe we'll have like potatoes and corn like my son wants and you guys can just have it. We're not looking to sell produce or anything like that. We want it small. We want a home for our families. And we felt that small towns is where we fit in the best versus in the cities. Let's see. Gosh, I'm not sure where else to go, guys. I'm sorry. I'm a little nervous. Any other? I'm trying to settle it all up. I'm not really sure where to take this, guys. So, any questions? Concerns? Yes, ma'am?
How many acres do you have?
We have 35 acres through Tony Myers. We approached him to buy 5 acres for ourselves. That's all we wanted, and we kind of pitched it that we're trying to help others. And she said, well, why not, instead of just giving you 5 acres, we'll work with 35 acres and a couple families so you guys can build homes. And if in the meantime you guys can help other people, because maybe, like the other day I met somebody at Chevron, everything in their house had burnt down. And I believe they're here. They said they lived here in Christmas Valley. They lost everything in a fire. If we were just a little bit set up, I wouldn't mind giving them a spare room to sleep in for the night while we even helped them set up their farm and got their house constructed back together. Yes, sir?
I don't know what that property is probably designated as A2 ag ground.
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, that's only good for one resident without, and you'd have to have a permit from the county and go through the county planning commission to do it.
Yes, sir.
Are you doing all that?
Yes, sir, we are. And a lot of it, we are going one step at a time. A lot of this I didn't know at first, going into buying any land. As of last year, we started taking all the steps. That's why we're kind of laying out. We don't know if we want to do a farm with one dwelling on it, because we are a home, or a non-farm with no dwelling, or I'm not sure exactly how to say it. We want a simple farm. We put in the rezoning permits. Samantha's actually working on that right now. We already have the funds to submit it in. But like I said, we weren't sure where we were going to take it. We just knew that we came out here, we wanted to build a home for our family. The first step to building a home for our family and for our son to have a garden is you have to have land.
You know, you guys, anybody's welcome, you know. We all have to go through our planning commission.
Yes, sir.
And we all have to do it. I've been
agree.
through it several times myself, and it's pretty expensive right now to do that. But we have a 160 acre minimum, 10 acre minimum to build on, or if it's smaller, you know, a Penfield map or something. Ken knows about all this stuff. And but as long as you folks are going through the planning deal, we would like to know about it to go to the meetings. It'll be probably posted in the paper, and that'd be fine.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And that's like, we're trying to take all the right steps. I know how to, I've worked in building a septic. I've done all the work to do it. I just don't know how to take the following steps. So right now, that's why I said we have motorhomes, because we could take them out of town, we could dump them. We've looked up every single RV spot here so that we've been dumping our sewage the right way. We've been paying for our own water. Even all the funds that have already been donated to us, They're in savings, so if we do get to that point and somebody has a house fire, we can actually help them a little bit. And that's our own, a lot of it is our own funds that we put together the last 3 years, saving just for our homestead, just so we can actually build something for ourselves. So, just like I said, we're taking the right steps, and all the advice in the world is needed right now, so that we can do everything the right way. So that my son, in the long run, 20 years from now, he could be sitting in his own house and not have to worry about working his butt off to pay rent. He can actually enjoy what he has and work for what he has. Yes, ma'am?
Did I understand that you already have, homeless outreach, facility somewhere else?
No, our personal homes.
Oh, your personal home?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any more
So I actually have 2 questions.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
one of them is just to kind of clarify everything, because I've heard a little bit from both sides. But, so you are working with county commissioners and commissioner-elects and stuff?
Yes, and James even approached us after he arrived. We're working with him because we want to make sure we follow all the steps. We're talking to Darwin, as well as the surveyor, I believe his last name is Anderson. We made the calls today. So we are trying to follow, we are doing all the right steps and trying to follow. If we miss one, we go back and we stop and go back and make sure it's done right so that we can keep going.
Okay, good for you. And then, my other question was, so, I've heard a lot of, it sounds like misinformation about you guys trying to live solely off donations. That's not what's going on though, right? You guys have your own.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
I've been saving the last 3 years to build myself a home. And even now, like, we're on leave. He's an assistant manager at Plaid Pantry in Portland. I work at Minco Produce. Even our jobs know what's going on. We took a family personal leave so we can go put together our own motorhome that we bought for $200 and restored so that we can come out here and make it proper. Because we didn't want to come out here when we know that it's going to be cold, that it's the high desert, know that it gets really windy, because even Nevada desert gets really windy where it'll knock anything and everything over. So we came as prepared as we can, and that's why even everybody's advice, trust me, we took it all into account to make sure our homes were taken care of, because that's what houses our children. Yes, sir?
I came as, I consider myself an expert in the RVs. 20 years, I had a full-time store in Albany. And so I got 30 plus years in RVs. I've lived out here for like 17. And I wanted to make sure that you're aware of the limitations of RVs and the brutal temperatures that we could get. And it would be sad. I could easily see people dying in RVs if they're not properly prepared, and I can give you tons of information. If you can make it out here on your own, more the merrier. You read your website thing, and again you use the word self-sustainable.
Because that's what
And
we
you've
do.
used the word growing corn. We had 2 hard freezes in July this year
No, I understand.
that knocked everything back to the ground. And so the idea that you can grow something besides alfalfa, you're dreaming. And so when the meeting's over, I'm happy to talk to you and give you some
All the advice we would love it.
absolute solid information about RVing out here.
Sounds good to me. Thank you.
Your turn, Kate.
Those are 2 hands.
You said you're planning on building one home as per the permit, and how many people would that home be for? You're talking about 100 families, and how can everyone live in one home?
And that's the thing, we're not talking about bringing 100 families right onto the property. If you think in a 10-year period with 35 acres, that you can actually help, right, at least 10 families per year through transitional housing. And working with the county, that's what we hope to do. And displaced, so say that, your house burns down in a fire, you have nowhere to go. Well, you could come into the community, and maybe it might never happen. But that was the plan in general, to have some kind of transitional housing, so that if somebody loses their home, or, maybe you've been working all your life as a contractor and something happens and you break your leg, well, now you can't work as a contractor anymore. But but now you can come in and use our transitional housing to get back on your feet. And as you're working in the community, that's what's paying your rent. You're, you know, coming to help with the corn or the greenhouses or whatever happens to be up at the time. So it's not 100 families all at once, it's more within a time period.
And the
is what it is.
transitional housing is.
Roxanne.
motorhomes?
It's what?
Be motorhomes?
No, ma'am, it's not. We were looking at actual tiny homes, tiny homes and or yurts. Even now, we're still going through all the coding processes. Okay, what kind of tiny homes can we have out there? Do we need to have foundations? No foundations. They have to be actually fully sustainable because we don't plan on having power out there. We actually want to use solar panels and maybe windmills in the future. That's where, and we're still kind of going and we're taking advice because this is our plan, this is what we want to do. I know that I can help one other person. So if we have a few people, just like in a community, we can help, everybody can help each other out. And that's what it is. To constantly help somebody versus bring everybody in at one time.
Roxanne.
So you're talking about a lot of transitional people. How many permanent families do you plan on having out there?
We only have 3 founding families as of right now. Samantha, ourselves, and then Marla and Dennis.
And that's all you're able to have on the 35 acres permanent?
As of right now, that's the only plan. We want to build our founding members' homes because, like I said, if we could take care of ourselves, then we can take care of other people and we can help other people.
And how long do you figure on having a transitional person in it? Do you have a time limit?
Like I said, we're still working on that. We don't even have any housing built for anything coming in or anybody coming in yet. So that's all the plan. That's all to kind of work with everybody, but everybody in the community as well, because we want our transitional housing to be part of our food share and our clothing closet and everything else in the community, so it works together versus instead of one just helping one person, it's everybody helping everybody.
The lady here in this third row.
Yes, ma'am.
Do they have to pay when they come and stay, or you just say, well, here I am?
No, they actually, all applications go through an application process, a background check. To kind of go on with the clean and sober living, our initial founding families, we actually did drug tests to show that this is where we're at, this is what we're doing. But as of right now, we don't have any other, it's kind of like a rental application with basic morals. No liars and no thieves.
Do they pay to stay there?
No, ma'am. They work on the property, so like if you can make sandwiches, or if you can help with the landscaping, or once we get farm animals, and as time comes, then you'll bring more jobs in, and it's just like instead of paying your rent, you're there just to stay for a short time, so that you can actually go work your 40-hour-a-week job to take care of your own home, or maybe to pay your own bills, maybe. Just like if your house burnt down, well, now you need funds to be able to pay for that. But if you have to go pay for somewhere else to live while you're trying to put together back your farm, that's the hardship. So if we kind of take that out and we're like the middle person and we're welcoming you onto the property, and all you have to do is put in a little bit of hours, then now all the hours that you work and all that money is yours to put back into your own home, so that you can take care of yourself first and foremost before you can take care of other people.
This gentleman over here.
Yeah, I don't know if you'll be able to answer this, but, so Tony Myers owns the property,
Yes, sir.
and Samantha is making this deal, and I know Samantha personally somewhat. I went to school with her.
Yes, I heard.
Yeah, small world. What's in it for her?
A home for herself. And she's one of the founding families.
So
we're
will
trying-
she eventually move in after you're done? I mean, how's
She's
that?
actually trying to get out here sooner or later. Just like us, we bought our own motor homes to restore. She's having a bit more problems with her motor home than we had with ours. We're planning on taking a trip this next week up to Portland to kind of help her put hers together. Because it's actually the deal is between the founding families and her father. She's kind of the one that's kind of leading it, is what it is.
What is her name? Her last name?
Samantha Myers.
The gentleman in the third row.
John Stevenson, Christmas Valley. By the way, if this was formalized, you should be saying your name where you're from, I believe.
Yep.
For what it's worth. So
Joe
some of
Knight,
these
Christmas
people
Valley Highway.
might want to point that out. So I got several questions, but one of the things that's nagging me the most is this outreach. But I love the idea. I love the concept. Why are you leaving Portland where there's a higher need than ever be out here. We take care of our own out here. And so when you're saying that, are you telling me that you're gonna be bringing folks in from Portland? You're gonna be bringing folks in from Seattle, from San Francisco? You know, I read on that little webpage of yours that you wanted to help out the folks down there in Paradise. Go. Go help them, that's all you gotta do. That's what people have been doing. So my concern is, and I know that there's been talk, but to be frank with you, you know, and I know that the Roshni's prom thing isn't a comfortable conversation, but it happened. We have a frickin' company, sorry, is that cussing? we have a solar farm, 7,000 acres that's gonna be right in my front yard. Yeah, so I am suspicious. 35 acres, you don't even have half what I have. You can't split it all up. You can't even put temporary transitional housing on some of those things. You know, you were there and voted to say, yeah, I can put my house on my property. You know, I mean, you gotta go through a lot. I don't understand what's any different than what you've said here than what I did on my property right now. It's just people coming in, putting a home. I think what scared us is your Facebook, this great big plan and dream of yours out here in the community, and we're going, holy crap, man, you kind of like it the way it is. So I'm just throwing that out there, because what you're saying doesn't bother me at all. I'm just like, you know, you're no disrespect, you're kind of an outsider, and to be honest with you, we take care of our own, and we'd probably be helping you guys out, and that's what we're concerned about. I've had several people say, you know, you're talking about lifting people up. What they're afraid of is that they're going to be out there having to take care of you and the people that you brought in. So there's just some concerns with that, and I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not, you know, but what you're telling us right there, I could care less. You can go and do anything you want with 35 acres as long as the county says okay. But when you talk about having transitional, well, I don't see where the need is around here. We take care of our own, and at least as far as I know, so far, you know, we have. So that's all I have to say.
You want to make any comments?
Not really. I mean, I understand that you guys are overwhelmed, and the Facebook page kind of did blow up more than we wanted it to, because the Facebook page is more for future plans, right? Because everybody should help. If you, just like my saying goes, if you can take care of yourself, then you can help take care of somebody else just a little bit more. I'm just putting it on the broader spectrum, right? Because if we could do it here, Portland has enough help. I've been helping them constantly. I set up camps when I was up there. I go to the mountains all day, every day. We've sent tons of supplies down for the campfire, me personally, not the commune, but me personally. And working with a few people actually out of state and back home where I came from. Working with everybody. I'm here for everybody. Now I'm here in this town to build a home for my son and still continue to help people.
And that's great. That's what always fun.
Becky Topol, Christmas Valley. There was a couple of terms on your Facebook page that I have questions about. Number one, it's dispersed camping. And according to the law, if you look it up, it is 2 weeks in a 30-day period, which what they refer to is state and government property. So you refer to dispersed camping on the property?
Yes, ma'am. At first, when we wrote the page, we actually based our page off of Dignity Village. It's a village in Portland, because we want to be fully sustainable like they are. And it's based on their morals, not their actual plans and what they're doing. It's based on good morals, being good people. So when we worked with Vahid Brown and a few other people, nonprofit organizers and representatives in Portland. And dispersed camping was the best way to go about it at first, because we don't have any zoning yet for our land. We don't have exactly we want. We don't know exactly what we want to do. So dispersed camping would be best, especially if we use yurts, because yurts isn't coded yet, and it's also not a tiny home. So technicalities and all that would be dispersed.
So the RVs, are they going to be moved every 2 weeks? Are you gonna go by the letter of dispersed camping?
Right now, we're following all state and county laws. So,
And one of the other terms was self-governing, which you on a little bit.
Which is all of us working together. Nobody's the boss, nobody's the leader. You follow your basic rules. If you don't follow your basic rules, just like we're not telling people that you guys are welcome to come here, it's kind of an offer. Anybody that needs help, we can help in some form or another. If we need to maybe bring you a food box, or once we do get transitional housing set up, then it'd be a little bit different. How else do I explain it? Brain freeze, I'm sorry. Oh, it's just so overwhelming, actually. So it's kind of just like a toss up at this right this minute, and that's a lot of the reasons why we brought the motorhomes out here right now and are abiding by state laws for dispersed camping, is because we don't know what we want to do. We wanted to get to know the community. We wanted to see how everybody was. We wanted to see what we can actually do with the land versus what we're told we can do and what we're told we can't do. We don't know until you actually get out and try it. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
The gentleman at the back wall.
You say you're gonna have your facility's going to facilitate people's transition, but you're sitting out in the middle of nowhere. So what are you gonna what are they gonna, what are you gonna do? What are they gonna do for jobs? What are they gonna translate into this ag economy that we have here, which is a very small economy? And I'm with the gentleman who was speaking earlier. I don't know what you're doing here, other than bringing a bunch of people out here in the middle of nowhere with no opportunity. I mean, yeah, it's a great, dreamy place, but you'll find out that you don't grow crops here. You're not going to be self-sustaining food-wise or any otherwise. One of the things I read on your page was that you were existing on donations, and that's not another thing we need in this county, is another establishment that's preying upon the goodwill of other people under the guise of doing great, glorious things. I mean, everybody here is here because they chose to be. Most of us came out here and built what little bit we have here because this is where our life is. And what are you going to transition these people to? There's nothing here.
Just like I mentioned before, I don't have numbers, so I apologize. But there are homeless in your guys' county. There are homeless in Lake County. And a lot of it is because their houses burnt down, or maybe they weren't fully sustainable, or they couldn't take care of themselves. That's where we're stepping in. Even the broad spectrum, I updated the webpage for you guys. Well, it's getting updated, the webpage. Our Facebook is updated for only Lake County residents at this time. We're trying to help the county. It wasn't meant to bring outsiders in by any means, because we like the small town feel. That's one reason why I chose this place. That's one reason why I approached Tony and Sam and I talked to them, because of my son and what he wants to do. And if that means next winter we don't make it and we can't grow anything, then we'll keep trying until we do. There are sufficient ways. There's greenhouses, there's raised flower beds, you can use compost. You can do it. It just has to, maybe we just have to try a little bit harder. And if we can't, well then, hats off to you guys.
Lisa.
Yeah, I'm Lisa Cooper. I'm from Christmas Valley, and I have a few questions myself. First off, I want to know about how many acres you plan on, planning on. The next one would be water rights.
We're using 5 acres at first. We don't have any water rights. As of right now, I believe it's 5,000 for an acre, or Samantha knows all the math per se. I do not. But right now we're only starting off with 5 acres, and we're not drilling a well, we're not doing anything like that. We're gonna bring water tanks out. There's gonna be a few things that we're gonna do.
Okay, and the next thing is, you talk about membership. When you talk about membership, you're talking about people that are members, and usually that involves a fee. So are you charging people to come out there and stay?
No, we're charging them more their time. We want them to contribute into the community, however way, shape, or form that they can do so.
Okay, and then you talk about that we have homeless. Well, yeah, we do have homeless, but we also have organizations within our community, and we try to take care of those people.
We definitely understand, and we want to be a part of that. That's one reason why we went to Dorcas the other day, was to meet everybody. I got Glenna's phone number as well. I don't know if she's here. I didn't
She's here.
see. Hello, I got your phone number. I was gonna reach out for you today. Cause that's what we did. That's what we do. We wanna be able to help people. And if that's a part of your guys' community, we wanna be a big part of that. We wanna be able to, okay, well, my son don't fit these size clothes anymore. Well, what am I gonna do with that? I don't wanna throw it away. I could give it to somebody that can use it. We have extra food because we go to work and we buy our own food for our property. Well, then we wanna be able to contribute what we have left or what we can contribute. That's one of the biggest things. We wanna work with the community. We wanna be a part of this community.
Okay, and then on your personal web pages, I'm Snoopy, I'll admit it. I know that I read a lot about getting high. It's been a long day smoking weed, so I can't get home to smoke some more. So, I mean, is that what this is all about? Is it gonna be about sitting out there and
No,
partying
ma'am.
all the time?
No, ma'am. A lot of the reason why we are clean and sober, what Samantha's business is, her professional business, that's on her. That's how she makes her own funds. She runs a few TV shows. She runs a few other things. That does not personally affect us. If she comes on the property, she even agreed to be clean and sober as well. What they do on their own time in a legal state is none of our business, but we're asking to be clean and sober on her property.
It's funny that that was just brought up because that was my next question. So Samantha's expectations from when I talked to her was for you to grow pot. And when I was there and I spoke with the kids that were there and the other lady, they said they're drug and alcohol free, but 420 friendly. I was wondering what the difference was.
There is no difference. That's a lot of the reasons why the other family had left to go back home to Portland. It was mentioned and we had asked them, you know, we told them it wasn't allowed on the property. We are clean, sober living. My husband and I don't bring it around. Our other family doesn't bring it around. We pretty much told them that they were welcome to leave.
But Samantha was saying that she was expecting you guys to grow weed out there for them?
No, I believe she never said that.
Okay.
Maybe, and it comes because of her business and what she does. Hers is based on medical marijuana and what medical marijuana could do for you. It has nothing to do with growing plants or, honestly, I don't even think she could grow them.
Is Anthony still there at the commune? He is? Because that's who I was speaking to.
Oh, my son Anthony?
Oh, is that your son?
Yes, he's actually at school right now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's our son, and we. Raised him too, just like alcohol is alcohol, marijuana can be used as a medicine or you can be used as recreational.
Okay.
We don't hide anything from him.
I just want to make sure that Samantha's not taking advantage of you folks down there, trying to make better yourself when she's behind the scenes trying to manipulate your work and what she wants you to do, well, you know, some ulterior motives.
As far as I know, in the agreement with Tony and Samantha is for us to build a homestead and to help other people. The only thing that's going to be grown there is food,
Okay.
and that's what we can grow. So, yes, ma'am.
Carmen, do you have a question?
Yeah, I did. One of my concerns is about the needy in this area and just not knowing how many people you might be bringing in that would tax our already limited resources. And this gentleman back here said we do take care of our own. You know,
we understand.
us personally have housed one of the two families that have burned out.
That's
You know,
amazing.
and other people have jumped in with all kinds of to help people, and we do that all the time.
Right.
But we do, like I say, we have very limited resources to, you know, we're not an incorporated city, so we don't have taxing dollars to work with. And, those guys down south, they kinda keep all the money, so we think. But anyway, yeah, and so that was my concern is we're struggling.
Right.
Because most of the people I know that are in business or have something, try to help other people.
And that's where we wanna kinda help too. We don't want you guys, as being residents and being here for so long, we don't want you guys to have to do it all by yourselves. We're kinda stepping in and saying, hey, we can help, and there's not just one of us, there's 3 families that can help.
And the police, you said you're all equal, and there's no, well, my husband and I have worked with drug addicted, ex-drug addicted, alcohol addicted people for years, particularly before we came here, but even since. There has to be somebody in charge to enforce, like you said, if people aren't gonna follow your rules.
As we grow, there'll be jobs, so we'll have, you know, there'll be security, we'll have, therapists on site, we'll have people for AA, and if not on site, we'll have it close by, because Ben's not that far, Lapine is not that far, and neither is Lakeview. So we're kind of, right now it's just, we don't have all the resources. We know of all the resources, we know we can financially help somebody, and that we can help just a little bit, right? So what we're trying to do is we want all those things, but we have to work a little bit at a time. So when it comes time and we have our dwellings built or whatever it is for transitional housing, then we'll go through the actual application process. We have a lawyer writing up our bylaws and everything right now, as well as the application, the full application. Besides, like right now we just have our intake form. Tell us about yourself, tell us where you come from, tell us the kind of people that you are. Because maybe in the long run, 20 years from now, somebody outside might be like, hey, you know, I have $10,000 to donate to the community for all the farms. Can I come stay for a few nights because I'm passing through? You never know, you know? Like I said, right now I can only tell you what's going on right now versus what we have plans for the future, but we still need to reach out to all those resources. And a lot of it is,
what I hear though, kind of what they're saying about Stephanie Myers, her business, and what your motto is, or your goals, could be a conflict of interest?
we have contracts signed with our lawyer, as well as Tony, for what we're building, and say that she so happens to do something on her other side of the land, then that she'll have to go through all those steps herself, that's not part of the commune itself. What we are doing is to help the homeless and build something for our son.
Charlie?
What happens is you move out here, there's a whole lot of people in the community here who work for the ranchers and stuff during the summer. In the winter, there's not that income coming in. What are you guys gonna do when you run out of money?
Right now we have a few things. We are financially stable. We actually saved up enough so that we can take care of ourselves for the next 5 years. We have our first family. They actually get disability and full income themselves. And that's where each one of our families, we are able to take care of ourselves. And as we get into transitional housing, then we'll take the right steps to make sure that they're able to take care of themselves and not take away from the jobs here, anybody's jobs here. We don't want them to have to go to the food bank all the time or have to go in there. We want them to be able to take care of themselves before we take care of them.
Well, I'm not worried about them taking the jobs. What I'm worried about is how are they gonna work in the wintertime? Cause, I mean, and then, you know, you get buried out there in 3 or 4 feet of snow, and what are you gonna do, you know? Trying to self-sustain yourself out there, like say you can try growing corn and a lot of stuff here, it's not gonna happen. I'm sorry, the alkali, the soil, I mean, you watch what the ranchers and farmers go through here every year just to keep the crops growing that we do have growing here.
Terry?
Yeah, I'm Terry Crocker. I have a local newspaper and I'm a member of the chamber, and I've been in this area for about 10 years, a little over 10 years. And I keep hearing what you're saying, and then I hear people, I don't think a lot of people are hearing what you're saying, which to me, and I'm just trying to crystallize this in my own brain, is that the transitional housing, you're not trying to do transitional housing for people around the area, first of all. You're not, the transitional people are a lot of people who have potentially been self-sufficient, that have had some sort of catastrophe, that you're giving them an opportunity to live in an environment where they're not draining the system or themselves, so that they can reestablish themselves in the community that they came from. That's what I'm hearing. And what I'm not hearing is that you're trying to bring a bunch of people in here from other places, transition them into our community, but to transition them back into their
Yes, ma'am.
And that's what I'm hearing.
That's what I'm trying to say, perfectly
Okay.
said. Daddy's word for word.
Carl. My name is Carl Parker. You're one of my neighbors,
Yes, sir.
okay? One of the things I think this whole community, especially in Oregon, you mentioned the word commune in Oregon.
Yeah.
First thing comes, and that's what flags this place. The first thing flags is Rosnisi. They wiped out the whole town. Okay, that first word is a word in Oregon that is one of the most nastiest words for any small community. We watch them wipe it out. Okay, we watch kids get through it. That's what's one of the things I've heard in the community is over again. Wait a minute, they're doing a commune? Wait a minute. Now, if they came with a different approach on the name, say, well, I'm doing an outreach, I'm doing this, not as a commune, but as a family help out, or something like that. A lot of the family would east out, you know. And the first day I met you, and I talked to a lot of people here. What did you say the first thing I put up behind you on the military base? I run anybody comes up here, I run their place to see who's coming in and out. Okay, you told me you work for law enforcement.
Yes, sir.
Okay, most of us move out here to be left alone, okay? The military base road from Bruce is not your guys' road, it is the military base. I talked to him for an hour this morning. Sheriff was supposed to come here and talk. The military base has never been sold, there's nothing going on in the military base. Outer criminal roads around the base is locked. That belongs to the government, okay? And that comes from Bruce and Redmond. You know, there's a lot of things, like you said, we are very tight knit out here. Everybody takes care of everybody out here. You know, when I came out here, the only reason I got so much help and started getting help is when they found out who my dad was. The farmers found out that my dad and I came out here 45 years ago in this town. My dad came from 300 miles away to work on these tractors and stuff for these farmers. So I've already had a little bit in. And as I know, I've always contributed my solar, and like I told you guys, I'll trade labor for labor. You need solar put in, as long as you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and you keep your word to me and say, well, I'm gonna be over tomorrow, not expect me to, you're gonna give me a call tomorrow. I expect, and it's the same with all this community here. If you say something you're gonna do, we expect your word to be good. Because this is a very, very tight community. We all live on each other's words.
Yes, sir, word is everything.
And so if you tell me you're gonna be there, I'll wait for you. If you don't show up, then I look at your word, then I look at your word like ain't nothing. And people are gonna ask me in this town, do they keep the word? Okay? I'm not gonna lie. I mean, because this is my home. This is where I'm gonna be buried. You know, it's where my dad came out when I was a kid. So this is all our home here. This is where we live. So, you know, there's a lot of things you need to work on. But like I said, we already know ourselves. Me and Lynch, the climate out here is micro. You're a neighbor. I tell you right now, where you're set up right now, if we get to snap like we did when we came here 5 years ago, all it took was one time. Dog bit the propane line. We had -10 in our trailer. It was 40 below at night. That quick, our trailer, everything in that trailer was iced up. And we're thermal, we're insulated. I grew up in the desert of Idaho. I'm set up for desert. My trailer now it's called a house, but it's completely set up, okay? And I keep telling you everything. These trailers, you might think that they're gonna hold the winter. This climate can change. Right now, this has been the most mild I've seen. I can show you pictures from 5 years ago. When we first came here, Thanksgiving Day, snowed to my legs. Was it 3 years ago? 2 years ago? We had snow out here that deep for months. We had roads here flooded. Where you live or where I live, it was not, you couldn't get in town. Only thing you say, how do we stock up for food? I have a big 4-wheel drive van and Jeeps, and I got stuck out where we're at. So, you know, you gotta kind of, you know, you say you kind of pick on what people say, you know, take a little bit here and there. Pay attention to the people who are around you.
I always take advice from everybody.
Yep, but pay the ones who are living in that climate. Every climate here is different. You'll learn as you live out here, and you let stay out here and making it. And a lot of things out here we learn through the years, and so communities learn. We help who we can help, but if the weather and Christmas Valley is a harsh area, it weeds out the weak. The strong makes it, and that's what we like. Everybody likes it here, because that's why its population has never got big. It's gone out for a little bit, but it's never got huge. justify yourself will weed you out of here.
We definitely understand.
So, you know, pay attention, listen, and if I say, biggest thing is down, if you give your word, then do, and follow the steps you're supposed to follow. And none of us have, I have no problem with you guys getting out here, and I don't think anybody does, but like I said, the biggest word is come. That through this community park. Put everybody's shackles went straight up. And
We tried to call you actual multiple times. I've tried to contact you. Actually, I have all on my phone.
Well, you know where I live. Walk over. I already told you you're coming over. Walk over. I'm gonna shoot you.
Hey, in my defense, you told me you'd shoot me if I didn't call first, second. So I ain't walking over there. I apologize. My grandma caught me better than that. Second, I tried to call multiple times. And third, we were wrong. It was an honest mistake. We are on the wrong property, and we'll take care of that. You know, tonight, tomorrow. That's what our plans are. I figured it all out.
Yeah, so. It's just like you say. Pay attention. When someone says something to you, like if you're not on the right property, instead of going, oh, I did.
Well, that's what I told you. We knew that we were on it. We had the tax assessor maps. We just had to go from there. Everything was, like I said, everything's a step. If we missed a step, we went back and took care of it. So.
Yeah, that's like nobody's asking. You know, just do your steps. You know, and like you said, when you first met you brought a family in from Portland.
Yep.
And you found out the hard way. What did they do? They sabotaged one of your rigs, took your gas. That's the reason why we don't want people out from Portland, from the big cities out here. Because if they can't, hold on. If they cannot, if you get in an argument with someone, and they don't have the gas or the way to get back, and if they go damage your stuff, what are they going to do to anybody else to get their way home?
I see that's
they're
not.
They're going to pick up on the way out.
I apologize, and that's not how it went down. They actually approached me and said that this was not for them, that it was too cold with having a baby on the way, that they wanted to go back home. It was 9 o'clock at night. My son was asleep. I told them, you know, we have the funds in the bank. Well, we're more than happy to take you into town. We'll dump your tank, fill your water, and fill up your gas tank so you can make it back home. Because he actually has a job at Promontory Park at Estacada as the marina master. So everything, he already had something to go step back up to. And, you know, it happens, and we took a loss. And it wasn't anybody else's stuff destroyed. I contacted the sheriff as soon as possible because that was my main thing. He cut our gas line. I didn't want it to happen to anybody else because I was more worried about our community and our neighbors. I even actually, right after it happened, I contacted you just to let you know because he was driving away.
Well, I knew from Anthony. He came up to me there Saturday when we came here. So, and the reason we put Fritz is because we've been having trespassers heavy on our property. And we're 4.5 miles out in the desert. There ain't no neighbors around.
Fully understandable. There was a gentleman sitting in the middle of our camp last night.
Well, they do. You call the sheriff. Everybody here wants to catch. This thief has been hitting this neighborhood hard. So everybody wants to catch who's coming out here catching our.
A black and red Honda quad, I believe it was.
All right, my name is Laura Harris, and I've lived here in Christmas Valley for about 4.5 years now. And you look like you need a break, so this is for him. So what I'm hearing out of all of this is that you guys want to be a self-sustainable community, which I know you can pull off, because I myself have pulled off nice crops of lettuce and tomatoes and corn and carrots and all sorts of stuff. It's just you have to do it properly. So you want to be a self-sustaining community. You would like to help people who have fallen upon hard times, like Miss Linda McCaustin back there, whose home burned down a couple years ago. And you would like to, instead of transitioning them directly into this community, you just kind of want to help them get on their feet so they can get wherever they're going, right? That's what you guys are looking to do? Yes. All right. Well, I wish you guys the best of luck, seriously. That's commendable. Really, it is. So thank you for your time.
That lady in the back row had her hand up quite a bit ago.
Are you talking to me? So I think all of you have the whole conversation's kind of gotten a little off topic. I think the concern was, in general, and unfortunately I think you're taking the brunt of it because you're the newest, is new people in general to this community and what it brings to this community. This is in fact, or was in fact, a close-knit community that's gone kind of askew. I mean, 5 years ago, we could send our kids to school and without a doubt know that there was going to be no school shootings. There's no guarantees of that now. I mean, with new people in the community, you don't know. I mean, really. And I think anybody who's going on about permits, if you've been out here for 20 years or more, you got something in your backyard without a permit, but whatever. So I don't think that's necessarily the concern either. Like I said, you're new, so you're gonna catch the brunt of it. But I think really the concern is when you say you're doing transitional housing, people in transition are in transition for a reason generally. And that does not usually bode a positive, you know, you're transitioning from what? It's not necessarily a positive benefit to the community. I mean, so I think that's more of a concern. And I think you can grow stuff out here once every 5 years in a greenhouse, whatever. We've all done it. I've had corn 1 out of 20 years, whatever. But I mean, so I think, you know, the conversation's got a little off topic. I mean, there's a lot of outlaws out here, and a lot of us are out here because we don't want to be in Portland, and that's, you know, that's understandable as well too. But I mean, I think the biggest concern I've heard is sucking resources. I mean, if you want to come and be a part of the community, great, then do that. But I mean, if you're coming, and your website, in all defense of everything that's being said here, says donations. We live off of donations. Doesn't say where you're getting those donations. I mean, it doesn't clarify that. You know, and the things that you're asking to be donated, post hole diggers, generators, most of this community barely has the resources to buy their own, let alone share that with somebody else. I mean, sure, the farmers, but that's so they can successfully farm, not necessarily because they buy extra. And so I think the conversation is getting a little off topic. Yes, 20 years ago, probably would have got shot traveling on other people's property, and there may be a handful out there that may still shoot you, who knows. But that's why a lot of them are out here, because they, you know, just can't live in Portland, and that's fine and dandy. But I think basically it comes down to, if you want to be a resource in this community, more power to you. But if you want to use the resources of this community, there aren't any. I mean, they're minimal at best. And yes, we do take care of everyone in this community to the best of our ability. And so I think, like I said, I think we've gone off topic, and you're taking the brunt of it. So.
I actually see that you guys take care of yourself, and that's why I like the community and love the community even more, because that's one of the main things I say. If you could take care of yourself and still help other people, we don't want to drain your resources, we just want to help. We want to, okay, you guys are already doing so much hard work, you guys are already straining for all the hard work you guys already put in. Well, I don't mind working for $8, $9 an hour if you guys need a farm worker. I'm pretty sure I could figure out how to pay or go in. I know how to feed cattle. So, I mean, I could help a little bit, and that's where all of us are. We want to join in the community. We're not here to get paid top dollar or to drain anybody's resources or to live off the state or the community itself. The donations, and a lot of it, I do apologize, maybe that was the wording. The website could have been worded a lot better. A lot better.
Your brother. Me. I moved out here 30 years ago, and believe me, it's been a struggle. I live out in the hinterlands outside of town. We try every year to survive off the land. I work for a farmer.
I'd just like to say, you guys are getting battered, and I'm sorry about that. I volunteer in the community. I don't know a lot of people. I've been out here 10 years. But everybody out here kind of minds their business. And if you guys are minding your business and making a home out there, I don't see where anyone has the right to complain about that. They're only worried about the transition thing and maybe drug usage, which is an issue in any community this size. And I wish you guys the best if that's your goal. And I see no reason why you couldn't attain that. And we don't have any right to tell you that you can or can't live out there, or what you can and can't do. As long as you mind your business and we mind ours, I don't see a problem for you.
Thank you.
I think that there were just a couple other thoughts that I had, and I think the word transitional is an interesting word because all I hear is transitioning from. Well, think about it in a different direction. Transitioning to. Our founding fathers said we had freedoms from, but we also had freedoms to. And so it goes with transition. A lot of people out here have transitioned from some pretty difficult situations and have transitioned to a functioning, healthy life. And I think that it's just, I think sometimes we get caught up in some words and we forget that those words have more than one way of being visualized. Just like the word recreate. I personally work to recreate because I can say recreate as recreate. So my recreation is my recreation. And someone's transition may be their recreation. To go forward in a new and positive way, and I think that's what I think your hope is, and I hope that's what this community's hope is for your success. And I'm not gonna say any more.
Yeah, I'm Ken LaPlante, Christmas Valley. Sure seems to me like your heart is in the right place, wanting to help. But have you guys actually sat and thought about maybe the repercussions if you actually get this going? Not only for yourselves, but our entire community. You know, a few people have touched bases on this about our resources and stuff like that, but typically when a lot of people that are coming in to have a place to be or get their head clear are from a big criminal background also. Drugs, theft, you know, all sorts of things. Have you guys thought about what that's gonna do to our already overworked law enforcement when these people are not cooperating? I mean, it's already to the point to where if you live 20 miles out of town, you have some sort of emergency, it's 30 or 40 minutes for an officer to get there. What do you guys think that's gonna be like for somebody in Silver Lake when they're constantly out dealing with something out there? You know, that is directly could possibly affect members of this community. You know, have you guys given any thought to what you're doing, and if it doesn't work right, who's gonna be left carrying that bag?
Yes, sir, we have. A lot of the reasons why I joined Advocacy 5 in Portland and got out there with the homeless and actually set it up, because believe it or not all homeless are addicted to drugs. Not all homeless are there because of it. A lot of it is because they got displaced from work. I've met hundreds of people in Portland that work 40 hours a week, but they just need somewhere to put their tent. Well, that's what we're trying to do. Well, you're working 40 hours a week and you're taking care of yourself. We're not asking people from Portland to come here, but here. You guys are working and just like a disaster happened and he had to save up all of his money to take care of something. Well, that's where we can help just a little bit more. Or we can help, not the whole, and all the community coming together. So we definitely understand that. That's why I wanted to clear it up. Like, we're not trying to bring hundreds of people from everywhere else. We're actually trying to help the county itself. People that already have homes here and something might have happened, or had a home here 5 years ago and something happened and they still haven't been able to go there.
No, I get that. So you're saying that you're not gonna allow people from, say, Portland or Eugene?
Maybe in the future, but right now, no. Right now, it's to help the county. It's to help here. It's to help our home. That's what we're trying to build. We want to build a home.
No,
and to have a home.
You guys build a home for yourselves. I mean, more power to you. Do everything the county requires. That's wonderful. Not a person here is gonna detest that. But us as a community are gonna detest something we're not fully okay with or know what's gonna happen. You keep saying, well, maybe in the future, maybe in the future. You know, we wanna know now what your long-term intentions are. So you say now, nobody from Portland can be here, only local people. But 3 years from now, you have 50 people from Portland and 20 from Eugene. You know, then it happens then.
So let me rephrase that. So I want people, just like you said, you think I have a big heart. That's what I'm based off of. Everything from right here. Everything that I was raised, okay? So if we can do it here, we're not saying we're gonna bring a bunch of people in, right? But if we can do it in everybody, the world, if they can see that we're doing it, maybe they'll go out and do it. Maybe somebody will just buy a random 10 acres and put an extra house on there and be like, hey, you need some help, you lost your house 5 years ago, I'll help you. Even that little bit of help, not based off of Commune 222, but the meaning of 222, which is seek balance, which is put everything together, put all your contributions to work as a community, just as any other community.
No.
And a lot with the name, I apologize, like, I really didn't think about it when we wrote it, when we came up with a name for our community, we didn't think of that. The only thing we wanted truly was the 222, because that's what it means.
And another question. You guys get this going and you start having people, and there will be some from here, I promise you, out there. Pretty soon you got 12 or 14 RVs out there because you're in the process of building homes and doing everything that the county is gonna grant you permission to do. And then you guys all decide, you know what, to hell with this place, it's cold, which happens all the time. Then you know what, you're all up and you leave, and you leave us with another big eyesore that we have 100 of around here already. We don't need that either.
No, sir, we are actually very clean. We clean up everything, as if you can see by the drone video, all of our trash is picked up.
I think your intentions are true.
But that's
But
where,
that everybody isn't, that you're gonna have in offering to help and welcoming there are not gonna be like you two. That's reality.
and we understand that, and just like, so if it does come up and somebody doesn't wanna be there, we'll get them home. We don't mind getting them home. We don't mind, you know, we don't mind helping in general at all. So when the time comes and we are starting to build out there, it's us main family building. We're the ones that are doing it. If I don't know how to do something, well then I'm gonna go find somebody that does know how to do it, and I'm gonna have them teach me so I can do it myself, so I can teach my son, or my husband can learn and he can teach our son. That's what we're doing. So we're not trying to bring a bunch of people out or contractors or anything like this. I'm not made of money. I've been just working my butt off to save up money so I could build a home. So.
And then the county, I mean, you're only allowed so many residences per parcel. Are you guys gonna split all that up, have it divided?
At this time.
Have you approached the county for any residencies?
At this time, we don't know. I've talked to James just a little bit and just briefly. Like I said, Samantha has more been talking with the county than I have. I'm the one that's out here doing the work, me and my family are.
Back in the corner.
Oh yeah, I like where you're coming from, and my wife and I are from Rainier originally. We've heard it before. Unfortunately, there's a operation in Kelso that it's called Love Overwhelming. I don't know if you're familiar with them or not. Been in the news quite a bit lately. Started out the same way. They bought a big house that was being vacated, turned it into a transitional housing. Then they found out they can get extra money from the state because they are going to do low-end addiction recovery. And so they got money. So they're doing this. And within a year, we have, I mean, and I'm not saying you guys are. I'm just saying we've heard this. It sounds scarily the same. I mean, pretty soon it's needle exchanges, and we had people ODing right out on the street. I mean, across from a school. It's a transitional thing. And people start, and maybe not you guys necessarily, but there's other people involved that may like money a little more than you do, and they may. Well, it's just they're in the last stages of recovery. It's okay, they'll be fine, and then it's a little more and a little more, and that's where I've seen it. I mean, it's not just and that's where some of my comments on some of the threads on. On the Facebook posts have kind of got a little skewed because, like I said, it destroyed an entire city almost. And this is a big city, not this. And like other people have touched on, and I was gonna say earlier, you said you saved up for you can support yourself out here for 5 years. That's a real misnomer. We sold our house for a whole lot more than we paid for the place we're living in now. And we thought the same thing, and it didn't last a year. When you're talking solar, when you're talking off-grid power, you're gonna have to put in a well. It's gonna have to happen. The county is going to at some point tell you.
And we'll get there.
You need a well, yeah. Luckily, I had lodgings on my property. I had the well already dug. The septic was already in. That big stuff was already there. But to upgrade the solar to where it was even functional. I mean, to provide power. I mean, that was, what did we pay? $15,000, and that was just for a 10 by 50 trailer. I mean, that's 4 panels, that's 12 batteries, the inverter, the charge controller. you know, that kind of stuff. This stuff is not cheap. I mean, my battery bank alone was thousands, and it's still not enough. And when you're talking about going multiple small, tiny homes, all running off solar, that means they're all going to have their own charge controllers, all going to have their own battery banks, all their own solar panels. Septic's going to be an issue for each individual unit. I mean, you're talking a huge commercial. If you have 10 or 12 of these things, you're talking a huge commercial septic system. I mean, this could easily run you into the hundreds of thousands of dollars in a hurry before you can do anything. My whole point, if you want to come do this, that's, and you can make it work, that's great, like everybody else is saying. But there's a realism to it, to living out here. And this community has done a ton to help us. You know, we've made a lot of good friends here. I stumbled into a good job accidentally, thankfully, when I needed it. But there's a stark reality out here. I mean, this is the Wild West. I mean, you've got to do for yourself. And if you don't have a decent bankroll to get this thing rolling, it'll drain you faster than just driving in to get fuel. I mean, it'll cost you more than you're going to be putting in gas cans. And that's, we live way out of town. We live 25 miles outside of town. And I know that drive. When you're building and you forget that one stupid elbow that you need to do your wiring or whatever, and you got to drive 50 miles to go get a $3 part and spend $30 and $40 in fuel. I mean, it's something you really need to, it's a great dream, but dreams have to have a footing. And if you really, and it does, it gets cold out here. It's an RV, I know a lot of people who live out here in fifth wheels and RVs, that they spend a lot of money on propane, because those things are maxed out. All winter long. And they're still cold inside the house, in the trailer. So, it's something to really, eyes wide open kind of a thing, because we've had people die out that nobody knew. They were just in a trailer, and one day they were out doing stuff on their property, and then no one saw them for 2 weeks. So, that's kind of where I was, when you said you saved up for we can live out here for 5 years, numerically it makes sense.
Right.
But, compared to what I needed to live in Rainier. But in the reality, it's not. If you're setting all that up, it'll cost you $100,000 your first year. And that's if you're doing all the construction, all the permits, and all the solar and all that stuff. It'll eat up $100,000 in a hurry. So it's my 2 cents.
No, thank you.
Lady over here.
Ellen Morehouse. And first of all, I want to just tell you how grateful I am to you for your standing there and answering questions from the whole room for quite a while. Secondly, I want to say welcome to the community, and you can do it. I hear that you're not here to take resources. I hear that you're not here to harm anyone, and you have land. You're welcome here like anybody else who has land here, and may you be blessed in what you're doing. That's it.
Touched on something in the meeting, quite early in the meeting, about animals. We have raised a grand total of 3 cows on our place from me. And if it wasn't for a perquisite of his job, we'd have never been able to do that. Feed is really tough to come by. It's expensive. You need to keep in contact with the Capital Press if you're going to do this, because that's where the resource for it is, and you'll find it's quite expensive. We had a cougar come in our cattle, so you got to watch for those kind of animals in your commune. Cougars also eat people. Unfortunately, we're cat food, to put it very bluntly. So that's what I wanted to say.
Why did you pick this area? What determined where you live?
Well, a little bit of everything. So I was born and raised in the desert. Like I said, I love the sagebrush. I love the desert feel. I love being able to go take a quad and go 10 miles and see everything. But then I also love the mountains, and I love Mount Hood and Mount Rainier, and I love how it's so humid and it's so green here, so why not pick something that's perfectly in the middle, and it kind of meets both. If I want to be I'm in the desert, but if I want to travel a few hours up, I can be in the mountains.
Is Samantha's goal still 100 families? And are the families that are still there from Nevada and California, and what states are they from?
So I personally am from Nevada. My husband's from California. We have Marla and Dennis, which is actually our first family, and one of our founding families. They're from California, and like I said, the other family had left. We have our friend Anthony up here visiting. He's probably just going to stay a few days. That's who you met. He kind of wanted to get a feel for it. He was the kind of person, he's like, well, I'll go camp for a little bit. I've never seen Christmas Valley. I'll check out the sand dunes. If I like it here, then maybe I'll go ahead and talk to you guys in the future. But right now, so technically it's only 2 solid families and then Samantha, so 3 families total. The 100 family is, like I said, it's within a time period. So within the next 10 years, we're hoping we can at least help 100 families, 1 family per year or 10 families per year for the next 10 years. Yeah.
Comment.
Even when Samantha's saying 100 families, that's what she's saying, 100 families within a time period. So not bringing 100 families out on 35 acres and making them a home. That's not what she's trying to say. And like I said, a lot of that goes.
Families in Lake County. If your goal is to help just Lake County, you're not going to find 100 families in Lake County that need your help. They're going to be coming from Portland.
No, sir. Every year a disaster happens and something different happens. Every year, the next year comes, somebody else can lose their home, or somebody else can do this, or you know what I mean? Something else can happen to these families.
Most people that lose their homes to fire have insurance. So why would they need your help?
We understand that. Because if they want our help, we're here. Not that they need it, but if they want help, we are here. And that's even if it means putting a blanket on the floor so that they have somewhere to sleep for the night so they can go to work the next day and not have to worry about their house being burnt down for just that 24-hour period where they can get a good enough sleep to go to work, then that's what I'm going to help them do. And like when the 100 families and the website, we'll go ahead and get that all fixed up so that the wording is correct, if that makes a big difference, because that's not what we were trying to do either.
I'd like to know what's going on at the county level and what's your position as far as living in motor homes as permanent residences, building multiple dwellings.
I'll be touching on that.
Thank you.
I noticed earlier you mentioned something about wanting to help all the homeless in Lake County, and that admirable goal. I did that. I applaud your heart. You're talking about gathering all of these people who are homeless in our community. Homelessness, whether it's from drug addiction or tragedy, brings about a desperation, and desperate people do desperate things, and you're wanting to gather these desperate people right outside our community. What's your vetting process going to be?
Even right now, so our application process is like a rental application based off basic morals. I'm actually, our lawyer's writing up our bylaws and our application process and everything that you have to go to even become part of it. So once we get there, we can have another meeting as well. I mean,
doesn't stop you from doing desperate things when you're feeling it.
But it does if you tell them that they don't have to do that. If we're showing them that they can take care of themselves with not having to do that, and that's where our application process and everything comes in. We'll have, when it comes that time, we'll have the proper entities to take care of it. Right now, we're building a home, and that's what I'm trying to get everybody to understand. Right now, I'm building a home. Yes, we have a name, because that's what I feel like a family is. It's to seek balance, it's to help each other.
It doesn't say family 222.
No, it says Commune 222, short for community.
So you're vouching personally for everyone who moves into your community?
If that's what it takes, yes, ma'am.
So you're responsible then for everyone who moves in. Whatever they do with our community, good or bad, you're going to take care of it.
If ma'am, if that's what it means. And eventually when we get there, we bring other people in, we'll have security security, like I said, we'll have psychiatrists, we'll have everybody that we need to be a part of it.
If you
As
need
of
a
right now, I can't
psychiatrist,
tell
I'm
you.
thinking you might not have as much control as you think you might.
I'm honestly,
Red back there.
I want to know what the desperate situation was for the family that came out here, and then it didn't work out, and they left and went back, and they had a place to go and a job. What was the desperate situation there?
they didn't have to be here. That was by choice. They asked if they could come out with us. We've talked previously for the last year. They wanted to come out here and try to build a home for their kids. Unfortunately, he did not. He didn't like the cold. He didn't like the desert. He loved being up in Estacada near Cortland. So he called his boss and he said, well, you know, I was on leave. I'm going to decide when to come back. That's how easy it was. That's just like us. We have our jobs and we have our safety net, because what if this doesn't work out? What if next year we go to build something and it doesn't? Because we have to take care of our family as well.
So one other thing I would like to say, one thing that irritates a lot of us is people come, they squat, they make this big honking huge mess, and they leave. And all these camper trailers and things, I mean, I realize you have to have something to live in, but I hope you take them with you when you leave, or at least clean up the land and put it back to normal like it's supposed to be.
No, ma'am, everything will be left exactly how it was.
Before you came.
Yes, ma'am. I love the land. I love the land just as much as everybody here. I love being able to step outside and watching the sunsets and the sunrises, and be able to go tell my son to go play outside and not have to worry about me getting hit in the street or somebody asking him if he wants to buy drugs. That's why we moved here, to stay away from all of that.
But don't bring all those with you that are not going to be an asset to the community.
And right now, that's a lot of the reason why it's just us. And as we continue to move forward, we can always hold, meetings, and maybe you guys have advice that we need, or maybe somebody can do a job that we can't do. That's what we're asking. We want to be a part of the community just as much as we want you guys to welcome us in and welcome our son in, so he feels safe going to school every day. We want that anybody, even after us, we want them to feel safe. But they have to go through the application process just like we did. We have to abide by the rules just like anybody else. And that's what we're trying to say. We're not hired anybody. We're here to build a home. And I don't know how else I could say that.
So, again, I would actually look forward to maybe transitioning and hear what we have from our officials here. We can't even get a physical therapist out here, and my brother-in-law is a physical therapist. We're begging to move out here. You talk about psychologists and all these different people. We don't have a doctor out here right now. We have a, what's it called? Practitioner. We don't, my wife's insurance basically says we can only go, and in her case, nowhere, apparently, because we don't have, it doesn't matter if you have a building, but the person has to have the right credentials and has signed up for your insurance or whatever. So the more I listen, I'm telling you, you guys seem like cool people. I don't know too much about you guys, it's not in your heads, but for just the average Joe person, you're the type of person we love to have in our community. But the formalizing of your organization makes me extremely nervous, and I don't know how that works from a legal standpoint. The things that you discuss takes more than 35 acres and a lot of permits. And I'm assuming you also have to get licensing through the state in order to do those things. You just can't come out here and say, I'm a nurse, so I'm going to start giving shots to everybody, especially when it's unorganized. That also takes tons. Well, just to let you know, that's sort of what, and John can attest to this, that's kind of what we're considering once they hook with our property, except for in our case, it's with people who take in foster kids. Okay? But then again, when I go up and talk to different people, they say, well, how much millions and millions of dollars you have? It only takes one bad seed to blow it, not only for you, but just like people who deliver things up to my property, they drive all over the country, they're from Waco, Texas. And he's just said that Lady Magnolia, it's only since that person that does, I don't know who it is, some Lady Magnolia thing, they do something. Only then has Waco finally got it in name. Antelope. You can't go through Antelope without thinking about the past. Now you can't go through Burns. So I don't want it to be another thing like that with Christmas violence. That's all I'm saying. You guys seem like very cool people, but we might be watching it closer than you like. And if you take a photo of my license, then it is what it is. Here. That's all I can say. But I would love to hear what the reality is.
That'll end that area. Before we move on, I have a history lesson for you people. I came out here in '77. From the 70s through the 80s and early 90s. We averaged 110 and 112 in the summertime. We also had good winters, 3-4 foot of snow to water that desert, and 30 to 35 below nights. That gentleman there made the comment earlier, these RVs will not stand cold weather. What are we going to do? I can remember when I've counted 7 15, 16 degree nights in July. Now let's move on. Thank you. Do either one of those two deputies want to make any comments for Sheriff Taylor? Okay. I want to call on that detective.
First off, on my amendment, Sheriff, it was one to be understaffed, so you have to stay going down the forth there. He regrets not being there. Also, Darwin Johnson, our county planner, wanted to be here, but he had a stack of paper he had to get through. So I drew this short straw, so I was coming anyway. We did ask the other commissioners, but they had other obligations. I hear quite a bit, and I'm very admirable. See some inconsistencies, maybe especially on the planning and so forth. But beyond that, I don't want to state any opinion. I'd just like to go through what the county, different departments, like the planning department, building department, the sheriff, and thank you for saying you recognize the non-Bureau land management. I've been talking with them too.
Yes.
So they all need to get back with them and share everything's going. So I'll just go with what the county planning, building, etc. departments. First off, as Dave said, you got 35 acres. It's owned by a guy named Tony Myers. Tony is the responsible party that needs to submit applications for dwellings, application for rezoning and so forth, like that. So you need to make sure that he's engaged in that, because he'd be the ultimate person held responsible. And on camping was brought up, and RVs are brought up, and living and things like that. I talked with Darwin this morning before I came. There is a county ordinance, which I have right here, on living in RV as far as recreation vehicles. It's actually on Bureau land management, state lands, it's usually 14 days. In the county, it's 7. So you've already exceeded that to some extent. So you need to work with Darwin to get an exception. Yeah. Now, usually an exception would be if you have submitted your plans for rezoning and you submitted your plans for building a structure and so forth, then usually the county will let you live in an RV while you're accomplishing that. But you need to get on the ball with that, because otherwise otherwise, we'll send the sheriff up to move you on. As far as septic, like I said, there are some folks in this area that lives in RVs and things. That's kind of historic or grandfathered in, you might say. But the county needs to be responsible to hold you to that. So when you get to building a house, you're going to have septic. That's been mentioned. And out there in that mud flat, that's going to be very expensive. As one person back there said, it might cost you all the way up to $1 million just to get established, even after you got his own in and maybe 3 different houses going. So septic will be a big issue for you. Did I answer you on the RV part? Yeah. It's actually 7 days. Like if I had somebody to come up, a friend to visit, they can park on my property for 7 days. Otherwise, they can move on.
And what's the county rules for growing pot?
Personal use. It's just 4 plants or something of that nature. You can grow it if you have a license to provide medical for somebody else. But as far as
No, Lake County pretty well monopolized that.
yeah.
Or Lakeview.
But if you have, okay, the town of Lakeview is its own governing body, so they permitted people to grow and produce. In the county, which this is, personal use, unless you have a license to provide for carekeepers, medical use, and then I don't know how many that is, but that's being scrutinized also at the state level. Actually, I'm very pro on medical for personal reasons. For my background is in biology. Recreation, I don't care if somebody uses it, they watching the Super Bowl or something, but not around kids. But again, or driving. Yes. But basically, Darwin is working with you guys. Move it along, because if you drag your feet, then you're going to get noticed. County Sheriff, Mike Taylor, like I said, wanted to be here, but he had to hold down court. And we got 2 fine deputies back there. So if there's any needs, anything, please contact me. When you get to but on the planning, if you're going to subdivide that 30 acres into 10-acre pieces or whatever for a residence, you have to go through the planning, which means going through the planning commission.
Okay.
But see, planning, I can't say what the planning commission will say or don't say.
Right.
I stay away from that because whatever the decision is made, one or the other party can appeal it to the county commissioners, and we can make a say so.
Okay.
And if somebody doesn't like that, they'll go to the state level for a decision. So my test is the county is aware, but you have to interact. And the first place is the planning department government. So stay on top of that and make sure that the landowner is engaged because he is the ultimate responsible party. Kenny?
So there's 7 days for these articles. Have the county actually started enforcing these ordinances now, or is it still just
That's been a topic of mine for about 12 years, and I haven't got to it.
Well, it's just one of the big news happening.
Darwin, on the 7 days of camping,
Well, yeah, that or, it's come from the residences, and you guys seem to send a letter and start the next fire with it. Is there anything going forward where they're gonna start holding these people accountable? Because, well, most of the biggest RV site in the state of Oregon.
I'll put it this way, when I first came on, my very first statement was, we need to enforce some nuisance and another if we have them on the books. And 12 years later, I'm still saying that.
So nothing new is.
Nothing new in 12 years.
So why is that? I mean, we've hired enforcement officers, even though we can't afford to enforce these ordinances. Somehow, powers that be elected to hire somebody to tell us.
Well, if you hire somebody, then you need to give that person teeth to enforcing. I suggest that you petition. We have
get railroaded up here often. I mean, we're all about time.
Railroading would require paying attention.
Like I said, when I first came on, the first statement was, we need to enforce the codes we have. I have not been able to get traction. Period. That's the way it is.
My property was A too, and I have to get my CPU, all that kind of fun stuff. So the thing that I'm curious about though is the laws, the rules. This is a nonprofit organization. It's not private. These aren't. They're not even coming in as private individuals right now, as far as I understand, based on their Facebook. That's got to be different. And then what are some of the policies and rules behind that? And then the second thing, again, it really concerns me when we talk about on-site medical assistance and things like that. If you're going to have, and also it does concern me, hypothetically, if you have people coming in who are using drugs, and someone mentioned this hypodermic, whatever, you don't just get to dig a hole like you do some things and get rid of it. I mean, those are serious things that can actually, because the state's eyes are on you. You did, the number one thing you did wrong is you made it public. You made it big. Which is good if you're going to do it right. But the problem with it is that, I mean, you can also, again, put a situation where suddenly a piece of land that someone might at some point want to use for normal can become contaminated or considered environmentally, condemned or whatever. I mean, all kinds of things can happen. I mean, I knew in Amity, the guy took in batteries, paid everybody $2. Well, we found out that if we had an earthquake up in that area, all the batteries that he had and all the acid he had in there, Amity, would have been 2 inches thick in battery acid. I mean, but the guy left. He didn't